What's up, gamers? On the beautiful day. Yeah. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. What? Look. um. Have you ever played Unreal Tournament 2004 on slot mode? You're like, what? Have you ever played Unreal Tournament 2004 on slot mode? You're like, okay, what are you getting at? Okay, in Unreal Tournament 2004 Onslaught, and most of you Unreal players know what I'm talking about. You have the power core, right? And then you have four nodes that's connected to the core, and the nodes are like scattered all over the place, but the power core is in the back. It would be like it's like red versus blue. The blue, same thing. They have a power core and four nodes, right? And the four nodes are connected to the core. Okay. And the red is the same thing. Core in the back, four nodes connected to the core. So you're saying, okay, what's that got to do with anything? All right. We're talking about the Microsoft Activision Blizzard merger here. Remember, Microsoft purchased ZeniMax Bethesda, right? But Microsoft still owns ZeniMax Bethesda, but ZeniMax Bethesda still acts as its independent, its own independent studio under the Microsoft umbrella. So the same goes now for Activision Blizzard. Microsoft purchasing Activision Blizzard. They're not trying to disrupt Activision Blizzard as a whole. They're just going to purchase them so they can own them, but they can still do their own independent thing. So just like in Unreal Tournament 2004, where you have the core, you have the power core that's like in the back, and then you got the nodes all over the place. That's what Microsoft is doing. Listen to this. It says here, Activision will operate separately on a post-merger basis, says Microsoft. Activision Blizzard creative operations will remain separate and continue to operate undisturbed on a post-merger basis, Microsoft lawyer says. Do you get it now? In Unreal Tournament 2004, see, the Unreal players on PC know what I'm talking about. You got the core, but then you got those four nodes, and they're scattered all over the place. But the nodes, they're connected to the core. If you get it, they know what I'm talking about. It's the same thing that's happening here. Listen to this. It says here, Microsoft has no intention of disruptive Activision Blizzard King creative operation if the two companies are allowed to merge. It says here, it's kind of like what Sony did with Bungie, if you get the point. It says here, Microsoft's service first model will disrupt Activision core business, but to what extent remains unknown. Game Pass subscription have been proven to cannibalize and or reduce sales of premium games. This effect is the exact reason Activision has kept its games off value-oriented multi-game subscription service like Game Pass. The publisher very strongly relies on full game sales in its annual Call of Duty franchise, a series that has amassed over 425 million copies and generate over 31 billion in revenue to date. Diablo 4 recently success also underlined this disruption. The game managed to make 666 million in just 5 days, based on the game's sales alone, a feat that may not have been possible if the game was released on Xbox Game Pass on a day one basis. Says here, while Microsoft Activision merger will undoubtedly disrupt Activision core business model in terms of game sales, Microsoft does not want to shake up the publisher creative process. Then it says in parentheses, unfortunately, this could happen regardless due to the subscription-based business model, which could lead to a change in how games are made alongside layoffs that are typically after consolidation. Then it says, in a recent court filing that outlines Microsoft's reason to oppose the FTC preliminary injunction request, Microsoft lawyers say that the tech giant will be mostly hands-off when it comes to Activision Blizzard King creative operations. Microsoft legal counsel give the example of Mahjong to illustrate its point, but we may also be able to include Bethesda as well. Reports indicate that Bethesda is its own independent operated publishing entity within the Xbox Game Studio banner. Okay, says here Microsoft intends to operate Activision similar to other recent acquisitions, such as Minecraft developer Mojang. In other words, Activision creative operation will remain separate and continue to run as they did pre-merger. Then it shows it says in all green here, Microsoft vertical merger with Activision, however, raises none of these concerns. See if FTC, Microsoft, Activision are not competitors in the relevant market, alleged, and Microsoft intends to operate Activision similar to other recent acquisitions, such as Minecraft developer Mahjong. In other words, Activision creative operation will remain separate and continue to run as they did pre-merger. Then it says here, Microsoft has mostly been hands-off when it comes to Bethesda games, and this has led to some big slip-ups, like the publisher latest game Redfall. Get off that. It says here, this has led to executive management promising to do better and get specific games on earlier basis to help guide teams to better synergize and mesh with Xbox business, include Game Pass. Remember, Game Pass is the core. Game Pass is the core, and then Activision, ZeniMax, Bethesda are the nodes. You get the point? Alright. Says here, Activision will not verse in planning its games for a service-oriented subscription model, but the company is indeed extremely adept in live service. It remains unclear exactly how much disruption the merger will pose to Activision business, but the service-oriented synergies could be quite beneficial to both companies. And that's the end of the article. Good article, Tweaktown. Again. So, you get it now. If you played Unreal Tournament 2004, for all you PC players and Mac players, you know what I'm talking about. This is, you have the core, right? And then you have the 4 nodes. So, when it comes to Microsoft now, Game Pass is the core of Microsoft, right? Of course, there's Windows, but Game Pass is the core. And then you have ZeniMax, Bethesda, and then you got Activision Blizzard. Yeah, they'll be independent, but they still will be connected to Game Pass. Do you get it now? Okay. See, this is why you use illustrations and demonstrations when you're talking about something. But anyway, but look though, but you get the picture though. Game Pass is the core, right? So Mahjong, Game Pass, Mahjong, ZeniMax, Bethesda, Activision Blizzard. You get the point. If you played Unreal Tournament 2004, you will understand this whole situation now. Okay? This was part, like Phil Spencer says, the core business. Game Pass is the core, right? And then you got Mahjong, you got ZeniMax, Bethesda, you got Activision Blizzard. Of course, you got the studio that make Gears of War. So Game Pass is the core, but Microsoft got nodes, meaning studios, all over the place. So yeah, the illustration I just gave should give you a better understanding of what Microsoft is really up to now. Okay, I mean Windows is the cloud over. Okay, Game Pass is the core, Windows is the cloud, right? Okay, but then you got your nodes like, okay, you got, when it comes to video games, you got you got Mahjong, you got okay, you got Rare, Mahjong, you got ZeniMax, Bethesda, excuse me, and now you got Activision Blizzard. So yeah, that's what they're up to. So like I said before, they just beat everybody to the punch when it came to Activision Blizzard. Excuse me, Activision Blizzard was really up for grabs. First come, first serve. So yeah, they beat everybody to it. Okay, Sony react to it late. Nintendo didn't react. Of course, there's other competitors out there that could have gotten them. So yeah, you know, like Phil Spencer said. Was like Phil Spencer said. What did he say? He said Sony and Nintendo is not our competitors. That means he looked down that road and saw who the competitors were. And once he got Game Pass up off the ground and running, and he got what's that Mahjong, then he has ZeniMax, Bethesda. As soon as Activision popped up on the radar and Facebook name got mentioned in that situation, it was off to the races. Okay, so Activision Blizzard was really up for grabs, you know. So Google is mad that Microsoft beat them to it. Sony is mad that they didn't react in time that Microsoft beat Microsoft beat Sony to Activision Blizzard. But if you played Unreal Tournament 2004, Game Pass is the core, right? Mahjong is a node. ZeniMax, Bethesda is a node. Rare is a node. Activision Blizzard is a node. Yeah, they act independently under the Game Pass umbrella. But if you played Unreal Tournament 2004, you can apply to to Microsoft's to Microsoft and Game Pass. You see what they're really up to. They got Game Pass is the core, Windows is the clouds, and then you got Mahjong, you got who else? My mind is messing up here. You got Mahjong, you got ZeniMax, Bethesda, you got Rare, you got Activision Blizzard. They're trying to keep them. Microsoft is going to be doing its own thing, but when Microsoft like own all these studios, they want these studios to be independent under the umbrella. They don't want to mess with anything. They just want them to do their creative stuff. They'll still be owned by Microsoft, but Phil Spencer want them to do their creative gaming thing. That's all they're doing. So yeah, like I say, Activision Blizzard was on a first come, first serve basis. Anyway, leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, the Star Wars and Star Trek thing for Dark Side. Go. Peace.